I've been in college and now law school for going on 6 years and have accrued student debt the entire way through. I want to work for the government in the future, but I'm concerned about paying back my student loans. What can you do to help me afford to pay back my loans and work for the greater good?
Okay, that's a good story, and also, as you know, a common story because a lot of people are struggling with this right now. In fact, my husband, who's sitting 4 people away from you, when I met him, I had paid off my student loans, and then I met him, and he had over $50,000 in student loans. And I'd start by making you feel better. I married him anyway, just to be clear. And as I've looked at this, I've come up with this way of looking at it. First of all, on loan payback, let's start with that, because that was your question. So especially if you want to go into public service, there's something we can do immediately. And that is, there is someone running that student loan payment program for people who become teachers or go into government. And that person name is Betsy DeVos. So we don't have to wait 100 days to do this. In the first 100 seconds, I will fire Betsy DeVos. And so we can make that program work better, phase it in better. It's over 10 years, and then you get your loans paid back if you stay in some kind of public service. But it has not been working well. But I would go bigger than that. I would actually add to the loan payment program in-demand occupations. I would make it easier for students to refinance their loans. I mean, multimillionaires can refinance their yachts. I don't know why students wouldn't be able to refinance their student loans. So that would be on loan payment. Then let's go on the other end, especially for the students that are here right now at St. Anselm's. Now, one of the issues for me is that I know that there is a lot of interest in the bumper sticker solution, free college for all. I get it, I get why. But I just want us to step back a little bit, and I want us to look at our economy and think, how do we connect our economy with our education system and make it work for everyone? So let's look first at in-demand occupations, what we're going to be seeing in this economy. We're going to have over 1 million openings for home health care workers because, in part, what we just talked about with the aging of the population. We're going to have over 100,000 openings for nursing assistants. This is in our country. Even more about percentage-wise in New Hampshire. This is over the next 10 years. We have no idea how we're going to fill them. We're going to have over 70,000 openings for electricians. We are not going to have a shortage of sports marketing degrees. Sorry, who has one out there? We are going to have a shortage of plumbers. So how do you think about this? First of all, we know we're going to have tons of need for 4-year degrees, like the ones you'll get at this college. So what I would do is double the Pell Grants, because they're at $6,000 a year now. You go up to $12,000 a year, and they can be used at a college like this as well as at public universities. Then I would expand the income level that you can get one at. It's at 50, go up to 100,000. The other thing I would do is make 1- and 2-year degrees free, and I would invest heavily in K through 12 and preschool. Just because when you look at what's coming down our way and the needs that we have, I think that makes the most sense, instead of using that money to pay for wealthy kids to go to college. That is what I think. I've been to a number of the colleges in New Hampshire, and I think this plan actually works. And the virtue of it is that it's a plan, and I show how I'm going to pay for it exactly by taking the capital gains rate and bringing it closer to the personal income tax rate. That'll bring in $500 billion, and I also believe we can get it done. That is the difference between a plan and a pipe dream.
Right. Andrea Amadeo Vickery is here. She is a lawyer from Amherst, New Hampshire, and she is undecided as well.
Okay. I liked your parade. I was in it at 4th of July.
Yeah, we're very famous for that.
Yes, it was great.
I've marched in it many times. Thank you for being here. And as a lawyer, I have been going crazy these last 3 years, seeing all the federal judges that are coming through the Senate, nominated by Trump and approved, very fast. And what I would like to know is how important the appointment of judges to the federal bench is to your campaign, since the Trump administration has done more to control policy into the future by stacking the federal courts than any other president in recent history. And many Americans don't understand the impact of this. So I was thinking that it might be your responsibility to educate the voters on this important and essential issue.
Thank you. And I think the best way to do that is to have people think of their lives and what court decisions have meant for their lives. You know, there's famous court decisions like Brown v. Board of Education that made it so that African-American kids could go to school with their white neighbors in the same state. That happened. They were trying to block that, and that's what that court decision did. You think of Roe v. Wade, which guaranteed reproductive rights for the women of America. And then you think of things in your own life. In my case, my grandpa worked 1,500 feet underground in the mines up in northern Minnesota his whole life. He had 9 brothers and sisters, and his parents were sick, and he wanted to be in the Navy, but that's what he had to do. And he would go down every day in a cage with his lunch bucket that my grandma would pack. And the mines were really dangerous back then. The sirens would go off, and everyone would run to the mine, and they didn't know if it was their husband or their brother or their kid who had died. And my dad still remembers the coffins lined up in the Catholic church in town. What changed? Well, court rulings changed. There were judges and challenges and things that happened. Unions came in, and there were court decisions that protected workers and protected those mines. And you can literally go through your lives and think of things that have happened that have been affected by court decisions. So your point is this, is that these judges and who has these jobs are very, very important. It's one of the reasons I so vehemently oppose the 2 Supreme Court justices that were nominated by Donald Trump because of their record when it came to consumer issues and safety, and when it came to their views of regulations that protect people. And I think anyone that watched the Kavanaugh hearings remembers my role in that when he basically went at me and I stood my ground, and he came back and apologized. And I think it gives you a little bit sense of my character and what I'll be like as president, but it should also make you understand how important appointing good judges is to me. I had the fortune of being a relatively new senator when Barack Obama came in as president, and I got to work with his administration on putting forward some amazing judges in my own state and getting them approved. And I would look so forward and be so honored to do the same thing as president. I think the challenges we're going to have, haven't supported about 2/3 of the nominees that Donald Trump has put forward. But I think one of the challenges that a new president is going to have is there's going to be a lot of openings right away. And it's going to be filling those openings and having the skill and having the people around her that are able to filter through all the names and get it done and work with the Senate and the House on getting those names through. Because I think speed is going to be really important here with the new president. Supreme Court, I think when I look at the kind of nominees we should have there, I think we have some great models in Elena Kagan and Justice Breyer, and in Sonia Sotomayor, and of course the notorious RBG. So there's some good models of the kind of justices I would put forward.